watching RTD's English News Edition. Welcome to our newsroom. The top stories for tonight are: the head of state has returned to the capital after participating at the 12th nationalities in Ethiopia. Palestine wants more firmness from the EU. Thank you for joining us. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Margeli, returned to the capital today after participating in the 12th Ethiopian Nationalities Festival in Samara. The Ethiopian Nationalities Festival is a political and cultural event the sister and friendly nation of Ethiopia organizes once a year in each of its different administrative regions. This event is dedicated to the diversity of all the cultural and linguistic communities of Ethiopia, who devote themselves in order to create the connection between the different people in order to reinforce what they have of more substantial and important in common, in this case the notion of national cohesion and living together. A strong delegation including in particular the Ambassador of Djibouti in Ethiopia, Mohammed Idris Farah, the Secretary General of the Prime Minister, Naguib Abdullah Kamil, the head of the cabinet of the presidency, Mohammed Abdul Qadir, the prefect of Tujur region, Abdul Malik Mohammed Bonita, the prefect of Dakhil region, Mohammed Shok, as well as many officials from the customary authority of different regions of our country participate alongside the President of the Republic, Ismail Margeli, at the 12th Festival of Nations and Ethiopian Nationalities. And exactly this morning, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Margeli, visited Samara, the capital of Afar region of Ethiopia, housing these days the 12th Festival of Ethiopian Nationalities. The Ethiopian Nationalities Festival is a political and cultural event, and it is a meeting that has the value of a general union for all the cultural and linguistic communities of Ethiopia, who during the festival of a few days enjoy the pleasure of increasing their approachment and thus contributing to the reinforcement of what they have most substantially and important in common. In this case, the notion of national cohesion. President Geli is a regular visitor at this event. The Afar region of Ethiopia has obviously engaged in major preparations process to house the 12th session of Ethiopian Nationalities Festival. It has transformed in record time several of its public buildings into dormitories supposed to host the collectives from other regions of Ethiopia. In participating in the festival, it has honored to organize this year. It also made available several of its administrative premises during the festival for the authorities, issuing badges and identification of foreign delegations to Samara who participate in the 12th Festival of Ethiopian Nationalities. The preparation that the Afar region of Ethiopia has made it is far from being merely administrative in nature. They also of a security nature. Security guards at the entrance to the main hotels in Samara city are not limited to controlling only the identity and validity of the badges worn by people. They also make them pass through a security portal. Beyond this, it is worth mentioning the important protocol preparation that the city of Samara has undertaken to host this event. The roads and main arteries of the capital of the Afar region of Ethiopia have been the subject of intense rehabilitation and ornamental work upstream, as well as adorned with flags from all parts of Ethiopia. In addition to President Gelle and Ethiopian Prime Minister Haile Mariam Desalegn, several prominent political leaders in the region, including President Omar Hassan al-Bashir and Somali Prime Minister Hassan al-Khairi, are attending the 12th Ethiopian Nationalities Festival. The head of state Ismail Margeli in an intervention thanked the people and the leaders of the Afar region of Ethiopia for the warm welcome that was reserved for him. At the same time, he wished a happy feast to all the components of this region. President Gille stressed that the two people are brothers and friends. Ethiopian Prime Minister Haile Mariam Desalegn addressed President Ismail Margeli, Sudanese President Omar al-Hassan al-Bashir, the Somali Vice President, and all the leaders of the friendly countries who came to participate in the meeting 12th festival, but also to all those who have contributed to this festival of national health. And back to the national news, the Minister of Health, Dr. Jamal Okie, made a working visit to Jeddah, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, from December 5 to December 7, during which he participated in the Islamic Conference of Ministers of Health. Accompanied by a strong delegation of senior staff from his department, the Minister of Health took part in the 60th Islamic Conference of Ministers of Health, which had as its theme the creation of the OIC Center for Excellence for Vaccines and Biotech Products and the review of the OIC Health Communication Strategy. Addressing his counterparts from Islamic countries, the Minister of Health, Dr. Jamal Okie, made a solemn declaration on the state of the alarming health situation in Yemen, calling for a combined and strengthened commitment by Islamic countries to help the Yemeni people. In addition, the Minister of Health, Dr. Jamal Okie, also pleaded for the improvement of the health conditions of Yemeni refugees who are supported by the Djibouti government and mainly in Markazi camp. Commending the efforts of Saudi Arabia in favor of these refugees, the Minister of Health urged the technical committee to include this important issue in the final resolution of this conference. In his speech, the Djiboutian Minister of Health, Jamal Okie, also appealed to support the efforts of our Somali brothers in the reconstruction of their country and in the fight against terrorism. And now, let me take you to Mauritania, where the delegated minister in charge of decentralization, Hamadou Mohamed Aramis, participates in the 4th Conference of African Ministers in charge of civil registration that opened yesterday in Nouakchott, the Mauritanian capital. This conference, organized under the auspices of the African Union Commission and with the support of the Economic Commission for Africa, the World Bank, and the government of the Islamic Republic of Mauritania, is under the theme Accelerating Coordinated Improvement of Civil Status and Vital Statistics for Implementation and Monitoring of Development in Africa, Review of Progress and Prospects. The opening ceremony of this important conference was chaired by the Prime Minister of the Islamic Republic of Mauritania, Yahya Ould Hadmin, who welcomed the participants and wished them every success in their work on important issue for the economic and social development. And on the sidelines of this conference that will last for 2 days, the Minister in charge of decentralization, Hamadou Mohamed Aramis, has had enriching exchanges with many African colleagues on the theme of decentralization, among others, but also with the donors who intervene and support the African governments in the vital registration strategy. And now back to the national news regarding the 4th International Fair of Djibouti, which continues to the Palace of the People, organized by the Chamber of Commerce under the theme First Djibouti International Trade Fair, Djibouti, Your Getaway to Africa. According to the organizers, this fair has welcomed nearly 200 exhibitors, more than half of them from abroad. And let's recall that this exhibition is a first in Djibouti, coincides with the 120th anniversary of the creation of the Chamber of Commerce of Djibouti. Officials and representatives of various companies participating in this fair who praised the efforts of the Djibouti Chamber of Commerce to strengthen the role of the private sector in the process of economic and social development in Djibouti. As part of the National Human Rights Week, a reproductive rights outreach project workshop began this morning at the Acacia Hotel, and this workshop was organized by the National Commission on Human Rights, known by the name CNDH, in close collaboration with UNFPA. This workshop was attended by the Secretary General of the Ministry of Justice, Mr. Maki Omar, the President of the CNDH, Mr. Seleban, the UNFPA Bureau Officer, Mrs. Aisha Jama, experts and facilitators in the field. The purpose of this initiative is to make a presentation on the evaluation of reproductive rights at the national level and the role of civil society in family planning, gender-based violence, and the rights of people living with HIV/AIDS. An addressing operation began yesterday morning under the leadership of the mayor of Djibouti, and this addressing operation was piloted in neighborhood 4 with the main goal of facilitating the identification of lands and buildings in order to facilitate the identification of buildings thanks to the signing particular with the street signs and numbering systems, entries and planimetric representation of neighborhoods in an address file. This operation, a force in the city, aims to set up a system of identification of roads, construction of parcels in public facilities. This addressing system of different neighborhoods of the city is an initiative launched by the government to better urbanize the capital and to better facilitate the control of urban management, to make it all the easier for local communities. This will develop ways to cope with urban growth. And also in the news, an internship closing ceremony was held yesterday within the Gendarmerie of Air Transport. This 5-day airport safety training course was designed for 16 air transport gendarmerie personnel and customs service elements. This qualifying training was conducted by experts from the U.S. State Department as part of the Anti-Terrorism Assistance Program. This ceremony was attended by Colonel Ibrahim El Mikaib, Assistant to the Chief of Staff of the National Gendarmerie, the representative of the Regional Security Officer of the American Embassy, and the representative director of the Airport Embassy International, who handed the diplomas to the trainees. In on the international news, Palestine wants more fairness from the EU. Reactions continue to flow following the recognition by the United States of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. The head of European diplomacy has expressed serious concerns following the announcement of Donald Trump. But for the Palestinian ambassador to the EU, this position lacks firmness. The European Union continues to support a two-state solution with Jerusalem as the capital of each country. The status of Jerusalem remains one of the major obstacles to resolving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Many observers fear that the U.S. declaration will provoke an outbreak of violence in the Middle East. It is with these images we close this evening edition. Thank you for being with us and enjoy the rest of your weekend.